The aim for the first discussion is to be grounded in the latest science and best available technology the world has to halt deforestation. I think most of you know that this was a big stumbling block when this all was introduced in '97, and it's important that we discuss the advances that have been made. We have two distinguished speakers. Kevin Knobloch is the president of the Union of Concerned Scientists, a leading voice for science-based climate policy in the United States. Kevin and UCS have been instrumental in helping the major U.S. environmental NGOs develop a unified approach to REDD with leading companies. Brian McClendon is the vice president at Google and a co-founder of Google Earth. Brian has done so much for satellite imaging and advancing mapping applications that he is the public library for what we now use when we're looking up information at Google, and it's a pleasure and an honor to have you here, Brian. Kevin will give us an update on the latest science. Brian will share how modern technology is helping solve issues around measurement, monitoring, and verification. Thank you both.
Thank you so much, Jeff, and thank you all for fighting security and transportation woes and being with us here today. I am very happy to be here with what you'll see is an extremely distinguished group of speakers and presenters. I would like to take the liberty of particularly thanking Jeff Hurwitz and Avoided Deforestation Partners who put this event together and have also worked tirelessly for tropical forest protection for many years. We are on the verge of a major breakthrough in protecting tropical forests and reversing tropical deforestation here at COP15. Now, nothing is final until it's final, especially at an international negotiation. And those of you who are engaged in these talks in some way, following them, have some influence, I would ask and encourage that our collective energy go toward pushing this agreement over the top. We are very close, and if we can nail this down, it will not only be a significant victory for protecting tropical forests, but I think give the entire COP negotiations much needed momentum and confidence to get the entire package done. From a scientific point of view, reducing tropical deforestation is a key element in avoiding the worst consequences of climate change. The most recent estimates, science is an evolutionary process, and each new study is a new brick to the wall of knowledge. And as we saw in the video, that the number 20% was used as the contribution of deforestation to greenhouse gas emissions. Well, there's new science emerging, and recent estimates show that tropical deforestation, including the loss of peat, account for about 15% of total greenhouse gas emissions annually. So the improved monitoring, satellite observation, and so on has allowed science to get, I think, a more accurate sense of what's happening. And it's still a very large number, equivalent to transportation worldwide contributions to greenhouse gas emissions, and so remains extremely important, even as that number has adjusted downward somewhat. Recent successes of countries such as Brazil in reducing deforestation rates shows that we can do this effectively. Countries can do this effectively. 5 years ago, Brazil was losing 28,000 square kilometers annually of its forests. The year before last, that number was reduced by the nation of Brazil to 13,000 square kilometers, and last year, the number was reduced to 7,000 square kilometers. That is effectiveness by any definition. A major aspect of REDD+ is measuring and monitoring reductions in deforestation. The work of scientists in remote sensing and the efforts of Google to make their methods available to all is thus a critical contribution. As Jeff noted in his introduction, we will hear and see of a major new advance in this regard from Brian McClendon, Vice President of Google, and co-founder of Google Earth. Brian has additional titles in terms of heading up Google Maps and so on, which I'll let him share with you. Thank you very much to all of you in this room for your dedication and your hard work to create a world in which we have development without deforestation. Thank you.
Thank you, and good afternoon. My engineers are responsible for Google Maps and Street View, SketchUp, and also Google Earth. But the project I'm going to talk about today is a bit different. I very much appreciate this opportunity to announce and demonstrate a new online platform called Earth Engine. Earth Engine will ultimately give tropical nations the ability to conduct regular, cost-effective, global-scale forest observation and management. Google.org, Google's public service arm, has collaborated with several notable institutions to develop this prototype. In particular, would like to acknowledge the Gordon and Betty Moore Foundation, who provided critical funding for our lighthouse scientists and also brought them into this project. I'd like to also acknowledge Greg Asner of the Carnegie Institution for Science and Carlos Souza from Amazon Brazil, who partnered with us in this endeavor in creating this prototype. Greg and Carlos, who are both on the cutting edge of forest measurement, have done an impressive job of training and outreach to non-governmental and governmental organizations. By creating online versions of these forest algorithms, they are once again pioneers. The science to quantify forest cover change through satellite imagery already exists. There is already a reliable foundation for the measurement and monitoring of the world's forests, standing ready to support a RED mechanism. The problem Earth Engine hopes to solve is not one of science, but of access. Many of the tropical forest nations have limited access to complete satellite imagery and computational resources. This hampers their capacity to apply science to national forest monitoring. Early in 2009, Google Earth made all of its historical imagery available in easily usable form. In this case, you can see Earth in 1975, and we zoom down to Rondônia region of Brazil, and you can watch as deforestation begins to take effect through a sequence from 1989 to 2001, and finally to today in 2009. And you can see that you have this imagery and this ability throughout Google Earth all around the planet. But Earth Engine brings something new to the equation, not just a way to view changes over time, but a way to measure them. Earth Engine allows our partners in science to input measurement algorithms and then provide easy access to hundreds of terabytes of scientific remote sensing and the computational resources of Google. This is ClassLight, the Carnegie Landsat Analysis System developed by Greg Asner and the Carnegie Institution of Science. ClassLight takes the complex forest science and transforms it into a user-friendly program to quantify deforestation and degradation. We're running a prototype of this ClassLight online on top of Earth Engine. Here you can see a fractional cover measure in the Rondônia region, and you can see how, sliding through time, the analysis happens nearly instantaneously. Here you see forest cover, and finally, the most importantly, you can see measurement of deforestation over time with the oldest deforestation in yellow and the more strong deforestation in red. You can also see this data applied to other countries. In this example, Peru, the Amazon highway was paved recently, and you will see just what happened to a small portion of it once that paving occurred on your left side. Finally, Madagascar shows country-level analysis, where we're able to take many scenes of data and apply very quickly the same algorithms and show national-scale forest monitoring. We'll zoom in to northern Madagascar and drill down to specific science and show you how to measure a value for just one particular location. What's important about this is that if you can take small samples and then compare the remote sensing data to field measurements that you sent out for that particular location, you can confirm the accuracy of the science from remote sensing. Here you see the photosynthetic vegetation and also non-photosynthetic and just the base soil substrate. Next, we have our second science partner, Carlos Souza of Amazon. He's developed a deforestation alerting system called SADE, or SAD in English, Sistema de Alerta de Desmatamento. Amazon is an independent NGO in Brazil. SAD is a fully operational independent monitoring system which analyzes satellite imagery daily. Every month, Amazon publishes a report on new hotspots of deforestation in the Brazilian Amazon. These reports are used to inform law enforcement, media, and the public. Amazon would like to use Earth Engine to make SAD available to all of the Amazon rainforest nations. Looking at SAD deforestation maps, areas in red represent deforestation within the past month. And you can see in this particular case, we've zoomed in, and from between August and September of 2009, the small marks in red are actually samples of very recent deforestation. But this is just the beginning of Earth Engine, a proof of concept and a promise of things to come. We're planning for new data sources like radar imagery. We'll create a programming interface so that scientists, NGOs, and government bodies can run their own monitoring programs on the platform of Earth Engine. But most importantly, we hope this undertaking will dramatically lower the cost and complexity of implementing forest monitoring programs. Though the technology is not yet available to the public, we will be working with partners in 2010 to roll it out in pilot programs. Our initial focus will be supporting the scientific community working with tropical forest regions of the world. And today, we commit to make our new Earth Engine available to them in time for COP16. Thank you very much.